Excited.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to an all new episode of Black Girl Can't Cook. Today, I am joined, y'all. This girl is a boss babe. She's a business owner. She's giggling, Scorpio. She's a boss. She's an owner. She's an entrepreneur. She's a model. Y'all, I really look up to this girl. I'm so excited to introduce you to Zara. Zara Velez.
Hi.
Claps, claps, claps. Zara, how
I'm
are
so
you?
excited to be here. I'm doing so great. I'm honestly just so excited because I've always looked into podcasts and like wanting to get into my own and everything like that. But like, I'm just happy to be like interviewed first so I can get the gist. And like, honestly, I love Breed. I'm so excited to just like be a part of this and her journey and just everything she has. So I'm so excited.
Oh, you are just, y'all. This is why the internet, can we just start? The internet is a beautiful place. It is a beautiful place. And the connections, the people you find, they can be life changing. They really, really can, not from New York City, like coming, just being a transplant like others. And you find those connections, you have to like grab onto them and be like, oh, me and this person are so alike, but different. And the internet's a beautiful place, a beautiful, beautiful place. And I love a lot of girlfriends. They're like, well, you can start a podcast, so can I. And I love that's it. We need more women in podcasts. You're so incredible. You should absolutely have your podcast. And we were talking earlier, it has its challenges, but it's like once you learn anything, the growing pain is over and you keep going, just
Mhm.
incline.
Yes, up literally, it's like this is the life of an entrepreneur, anyone in this field, like mindset, lifestyle. It's like it's not your regular quote unquote day-to-day average, routine, but it's like you make your own routines, like you were saying with the self-discipline, and it's like it's more like impactful and just rewarding than anything else, I would say.
Yeah, and listeners, I have to tell you, I admire Zara so much. You're also a mentor. So what has that tell us as women like how life-changing and impactful that is because being in New York, being entrepreneurs, we need like mentors and people to guide us. And what's that like for you?
So it's so different, one, because I particularly mentor middle school students. So I've always been drawn to our youth, and I've just literally since I was like 14, like my first job was working as a camp counselor at like my family friend's little like nursery school. And that was like my first job ever. And I've just always been drawn to the youth because I just feel like they're more insightful sometimes than like talking to our own age
Sis,
group.
preach, preach.
And it's just like so amazing to just see their minds and see where they're at and see like because they're the next up, so it's so great to just see where their mindset and where their headspace is at because it's like okay, I know we're in greater hands than we are currently, so everything's going to pan out perfectly. And I particularly work with first generation students, so it's like everyone that I work with, their parents have come from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and they're Spanish speaking. So it's like growing up in New York that like you can kind of relate to them in a sense, but it's like they're working just as hard as some people that I know that are my age and older. So it's like it's just inspiring, and I love being around them because it just keeps my creative juices flowing, honestly.
That is so incredible. That's so beautiful. And I love what you said. Something about it's the youth. They're right behind us. So this whole like Gen Z and this, any generation coming in behind us, we have to like look up for them and cater to them. And I also babysit too. So I know what you mean. Sometimes these kids drop knowledge better than my girlfriends. Like the advice, I'm like, I'll be babysitting, texting, fighting with a friend, and like the kid will just be like, just don't respond, be the bigger person. And I'm like, uh-huh.
You're
Okay,
right.
7. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun to be around that energy because kids are just their minds soak up and you can learn so much from them. So I love that. That's incredible.
Yeah, they're just like unapologetically them, and I love that because it's like seeing I tutor them and mentor them Monday through Friday. So it's like I see them more than I see my friends sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's like they're my friends and we see each other every day. We see how we're doing emotionally, mentally, like everything like that. And we also just check in, like I see how they're doing with school, obviously help them as needed, but it's more of like a personal relationship more than anything. And it's just so great to see how I know that we're in good hands because I just see how they're like strong, they're independent, and I just love how advanced they are. Cause I'm like, yo, when I was in middle school, I was not like that.
No, not even. And they're so lucky too, Zara, because they have you. Like you are such like a kind soul. And I think too, just as a whole culture, we need to be better at listening and just checking. Like hey, how are you? Like, how are you? How's home? How are you today? And just even that can just open the whole world to children, to adults. It can just help us heal collectively when we listen and just ask, hey, like, how are you? Like, what's in your
Yeah,
heart, you know?
exactly.
That's incredible. As a young female entrepreneur, where does your drive come from and how did you cultivate it? Because we got to know each other a little, but I'm still so inspired. Your drive, your hustle, like yeah, where does that come from? I know it's incredible. I think you're like, I think 2 years older than me, but no, I really look up to you. I'm like, she's on it.
I'm 22.
Go on. Wait, are you considered Gen Z?
I don't know. Am I?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hopefully
Who
not.
knows? Okay, no, yeah. So you're about 4 years younger than me, and in that energy and spirit, I was so gravitated because it's like, oh, she hustles, she goes, no fear. How did you cultivate that? Where do you think that came from?
That's a good question because I get that more than you think. Like people always like, oh my God, like you're only this, you're only that. I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like, but I feel like I was like spiritually, like I'm just a natural old soul. Like that's just, some people are just like that. I'm one of those people. I'm just an old soul. And honestly, I just feel like my drive just comes from like seeing my mom and my parents just coming from, they both were born in the Bronx, born and raised, and my mom didn't really have a dad figure. She didn't really have a mom figure. She was raised honestly by her family. And
Mhm.
my dad kind of just he was the oldest of three, and he had to take on the role of being, that second parent in some
Absolutely.
households. So it was like seeing how like my parents hustled, and then me being an older sibling and just having to, fall in between of where my parents were always at work and just having to be that, that role model and that
Mhm.
figure. It kind of just like innately was in me. And I've always been a busybody. I always say, like, I've always just been like, I'm super into athletics. I would play like 3 different sports every single season. I was super good in like school. Like I feel like I'm more hard on myself than anyone else is. So that's kind of like where it comes from. And I just always want to do more. I feel like the work is never done. So it's like
Yeah.
every single day that I wake up, I have a purpose. So it's like I'm here, I'm alive today, I'm breathing, I'm healthy. So it's like, what can I do to make my impact? Because tomorrow is really not promised. So
Oh
that's like,
my God.
yeah, that's where it comes from. I feel like.
Incredible. And just what you said at the end, I literally got body chills. I don't know if it's because I'm buzzed, but no, just every day you're here, it's a gift. And what can you bring? And also, this is why I know I liked you. My dad, too, is from the South Bronx, like Tracy Projects or Mary's Project. So seeing listeners, when your parents come from humble beginnings and just we're all human, that what life throws at them, it really puts something I feel like in you to thrive and to be better and to just see you saw the struggle. You really were able to see your parents who you love, whether that's a great relationship or not. You were able to see that. And I think as you move into womanhood, adulthood, you're just able to you pick either it's gonna put a negative and this is gonna be the story, or you're gonna flip it and you're just gonna thrive and you're gonna drive. And I don't know about you, like one of my things, like I can't wait to help my mom or dad retire. Like I cannot wait. Like that's just just start throwing them money in the account. Like that's just such a big goal because you've seen where it started, where it's going, and we are our parents, like the ancestors, like we are the next generation to make the dreams come true. I really believe that.
Yes, and my mom would always say like, well, I just feel like all parents, like they just want more for their kids, right? So it's like we just know that like they want more, or they just basically they want to do what they couldn't. So it's like every single day that I'm here, I'm like, okay, well, like, my mom had to do this, but she put me in a position where I'm here and I can do it. So I have to do it. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If I'm presented the opportunity, I'm going to take it and run with it because why not? Not every day everyone is presented with the opportunities that I necessarily am. So it's like, let me be grateful and give back to the people that I know aren't in that position that I'm in currently.
Absolutely. And something so powerful you have to know about energy. And like when you give back, oh my God, the fruitions the universe gives you, the money, the love. Listeners, just like the abundance, like I'm talking about, and I feel it from your page, IG. I'm like, oh, she's just in her life and thriving and happy because you're just open and then you're giving back to the community, to the light. And it all is like cohesive. It's so cohesive and it's crazy how energy works, right?
Oh, literally 110%. I didn't really even like, because I feel like college me was more like day by day, get through whatever, like do
Of
whatever.
course. Of course.
Like not even here to think about like the future. Like I was literally just day by day. Okay, what can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? Da 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 da. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like just seeing how, because I graduated in May 2020, and now it's May 2021, and
Yeah.
in this past year, girl, my life has just completely done a 180. Like I just view things differently. I do things differently. Different people have been like, you have just been plotted into my life. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, like it's just crazy. Law of attraction, abundance, everything.
Crazy. Listeners, get on that. And you have to follow Zara and her adventure of life just on Instagram. It's great. Another thing, and we'll get into questions. You're a model, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I like admire you so much. You're signed, but we know like the model industry, everything. How do you take care of your mental health? What are maybe one or two practices that help you be like a successful model?
No, that's super important, because I didn't really even get into this like space of professionally modeling until late 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So because of like the industry that I'm in, I kind of like, started growing my brand and my page and everything like that. So it introduced me to different people who, then came attracted to my work.
Absolutely.
So I came about that, and then I'm like, okay, like I started going to castings and started applying for different jobs and all of these things, and it was so new to me. And I guess my first ever experience in the model industry being, Afro Latina, and like having, not being the skinny mini, and like
Mm-hmm.
the fair skin and all of that stuff. So, it eventually gets to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. And when it did, I was like, oh, this is what
You're
they were
like, this
talking
is it.
about.
Right. Cause like you hear about it, but then, oh,
Yes, no, literally. It didn't hit me until I was in that chair, when the stylist was like, okay, so what do I do with your hair? And like, is this like, what is this? I'm like, so I'm just sitting there, keep my composure. But in my head, I'm like, ha ha ha.
right. But little you's like, sissy, this is it.
And I was like, okay. So then I just knew, going from like, I just feel like I was more self-aware from that moment than I ever was before. And honestly, it's just like, I just have to believe in me, and just knowing that what's meant for me will be for me. And even though I took all the time and the energy to get myself presentable and ready for whatever casting or whatever job it may be, and maybe it doesn't work out, at least I know that like I needed to go through that, because there was something I needed to learn from that.
There was a lesson. Isn't like in every mishap, misturn, there's a lesson to be learned. And I
Mhm.
think with my reading, and I know you're very spiritual, it's like you have to ask yourself, listeners, like, what is life trying to teach me? And whether it's like a laugh situation like that, whether it's I have so many friends who are, yeah, actors and dancers and models, and it's the casting. It's like it kind of gets to you. And it's just you have to just really self reassess and remember who you are.
And I feel like one thing that makes it just makes me different than most, because for example, like let's say, you're someone that kind of got into this industry very young, like
Hmm.
being like maybe 16, coming into the industry, and like kind of, when you're a 16-year-old, young girl, or becoming into womanhood, you're kind of like finding yourself in that moment.
Hmm.
So when you're finding yourself in that moment, but so many people are maybe turning you down, saying you should look a certain way, or your hair should be a certain way, or why is your skin like this, it plays a lot on your psyche and your mental. And you're like, now as a 16-year-old girl, you're going through that and growing through that. But right now I'm 22, and I'm like kind of set in me and who I am. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I don't really care what you have to say. Like, it is what it is. I'm gonna go get the next job.
That's incredible. That's so incredible. And there's a big mainstream model now, plus size, Paloma, and I've seen I hate to even say she's an she's a model, but of a certain age. And I saw following her career, she started later. And what a blessing. Like, you know who you are. And so like listeners, like the words come, or when someone tries to tell you who you are and you know it's not it, like you don't even fuck with it. It's just mm, like, it's
Okay.
okay. Okay. Like that is your opinion. And two, you have to remember, like, it says so much about the other person than like anything else. So that's also very telling. And yeah, what a blessing. Cause I know we've seen like childhood actors and even stars, like the mental health toll, just everything. Like when you are, listen, you're in the process of growing up, being an adolescent. Like I look at myself at 15, 16. Oh my God, like you did not know who you were and trying to fit in and all that. It's just, it's a lot, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just like, I'm happy that I came across this when I did, because I always feel like God, the universe, whoever you believe in, it's always meant for you when it's supposed to be. So even if you're like rushing for something and you're like, why is this not working out for me? Like you're just not meant for it right now. So it's like just wait for your turn, wait for your time, and it'll all just like unfold when it's supposed to, you know?
And why did I, listeners, I needed this word. I needed this word because it's really, like when you're trying to force something or push something, I think it was like Oprah Super Soul. It's really like manifestation, all that. You tell it to the universe and then you have to let go. You have to step back. You still fight all your actions and do the things to succeed and make it a goal, but you really, there's not exactly, the universe is so funny. Like it'll
So
come when it's time. Everything. Oh, it's crazy, right? It's just, it's
yes,
insane. And all right, before we get into the questions, I am so obsessed. Listeners, I think it's so important for young Black women, especially, but all women to see healthy, successful, mature relationships. And you and your boo, he's an Aries. What has that? No, I literally love like how you like snap on IG, but like I love that you both, you're so supportive and you're such a strong couple. And as Black women, we have to see that and know that it's possible. So how do you guys motivate each other and what has that love been like to blossom? Because I just saw too, you said he's in law school. So I'm like, oh, can't even imagine their house, but always looks so fun. You guys are out and cooking and eating. What has that love been like?
no, that's a great question, because today, literally, actually, before we even got into the podcast and everything, he just finished his first year of law school today.
Incredible.
Right.
Shit. Incredible. Gosh. In a year in a pandemic? Oh, girl. Wow. Wow.
No, literally, that was my reaction. I'm like, sis, because I could never, like,
Never. Listeners, never. 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 Oh my God.
never. And school was just like college, and that like area was, it was just me being there for like my mom was like my driving factor. Like, you need to go to school, you need to get education. Black women always have to work 10 times harder. Like, you need that. And I'm like, like, okay, like I need that. So I really just did it because of that. But when
Absolutely.
I see my boyfriend and I just see like what he's doing for and why he's doing it, it's like he's a first generation white man. And it's like you don't see that often.
You
You know what
don't.
I'm saying? So it's like when you see that, you just know, and you see how driven and motivated and just how compassionate and his motivation behind it. It's like that's something that's so special. You don't really see that as often
So special,
as
so attractive too. Oh
right.
gosh. Yes.
Exactly. And I'm just like, okay, so that's what I gotta keep an eye out for. Like I gotta keep watching that. And I did, and we actually went to the same college. I've actually known him since I was 10. Crazy enough.
Oh my God. I love. Oh,
Yeah, crazy enough. And we didn't weren't like romantic or anything literally until like college came about. So middle school, high school, we didn't even speak. I went to different high school, stuff like that, but
of
we
course.
still ended up crossing paths after high school, and then college came. So college came, and then like he was really the only one that like I still kind of spoke to, and like I went 3.5 hours away from my hometown and all of these things, right? So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, like, he's keeping an eye out for me. Like I'm gonna keep an eye out for him. Like, we're keeping
Exactly.
whatever. And then it just blossomed into something that I'm so grateful for. I just honestly so grateful for, because it's like when you have someone in your circle and your life that just supports you, the energy is reciprocated. Like, please, guys, hold on to that. Like, it's very rare. It doesn't come around often. Oh,
So
yes,
rare. It is so, especially, and listeners, I'm going to say for women such of young age, we're both young, 26, 22, to have such, to have such supportive and loving partners. It's so, listeners, you have to hold on for it. And two, because like men are, there can be a lot of ego and you need a man that's ego less, or at least that can turn it down a notch and meet you halfway, because
yes,
it's so much more fulfilling and thriving. I'm sure you can like to then be going after your dreams together. Oh my, like the household is just love and aroma and energy. And it's like, you good, babe? I'm good. Okay, good. Like it's just, it feels
yes,
good, you know?
exactly. And it's like when you can just you need that as, especially as entrepreneurs, like you kind of need that, like someone that's like gonna like push you to be like, oh shit, like I'm laying on the couch right now, I'm kind of scrolling on Instagram, I'm watching YouTube, like let me get up and go do something. Let me go, get up and
Yes.
do something. And it's like, wow, because at the end of the day, like that's something big to me. Like I only want people around me that are going to push me to be better, because there's so much more to be done. And when you have someone that just reciprocates that tenfold, it's like you just need that around, and
You
it's
just
just
need
so
it.
loving. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's just it's just
absolutely. And I feel like it's essential. It's essential for any relationship. Even I've had to see with like friendships in the year of COVID. Wait, I only need people in my circle who are, I'm rooting for them and vice versa. Like it has to be reciprocal and just a foundation, listeners. I think you have the foundation of love. You just want to see him succeed and he wants to see you succeed. Like, end of question. And wait, that's literally me. My boyfriend will be like, oh, are you gonna stay in bed and watch Housewives all day? Are you gonna get work done? And I'm like, all right, shit. They're like, no, you're listener. You need someone who can lovingly check you and two, really inspire you, because that love just blossoms and it just gets stronger and it's totally amazing. Amazing.
exactly. Like I wouldn't trade it for a world and for the world. And it's like when you come to think about it, it's like, when I would always see those like memes, like, oh, you meet your lover in 7th to 12th grade. I don't know if you remember those, like seeing those, like, but I would always see those. You're like, you're gonna meet that. I'm like, yeah, okay. And I really did. And I'm like, wow, I was one
You
of
were
those
one of those
people.
people. Gonna have to get you like a little mean cake or thing.
But I'm just honestly so grateful. And it's at the end of the day, I just wanted to say, like, make sure you find someone that has the same values, that has the same morals, and really just sees and interprets life the way you do. Because if you don't, there's always going to be like that clashing, and it's just, you're never going to grow from that. But as long as you can communicate, and at the end of the day, you guys know truly deep down you have the same vision, the same goals, keep
Oh,
it. There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. Listeners, that's so important. And two, for something I've seen, like, wow, both me and my partner, like, we honor family and we love our families. And just like you said, girls, boys, when you're dating, like, look at the values. I know dating can be fun, but when getting to that next step or whatever, just what are their values? And just like you said, they're eventually just like energy. The clash will happen. Like, if it is not aligned and if he's just hot and rich and you think no, you really need to make sure it aligns, because otherwise it won't be successful. That's just my opinions. And two, that's just science. That's literally the energy and like it clashing. Because two, I think the best, easiest loving relationships, they're easy. Like it's so simple. It's like you communicate and the fights are not fights, they're understandings and you work through them. And there's just an emotional maturity. And that's where you thrive and that's where love grows.
100%, definitely.
So, this podcast is on body image, cooking, and self love. And wait, where did you grow up? Where are you from? And how does that shape your relationship with your body? Are you
Okay.
born and raised New Yorker? I think you are, right?
Yes.
You are. Sis! We love. No, listeners, all my born and raised New Yorkers like that I've interviewed, I'm just obsessed with y'all. Y'all have a certain that's what they listen, listeners, they have a certain edge and they a swagger, an edge, and it's just like a one up because it's one, there's not even a lot of you in the city, but it's the born and raised. So what
And
was
I honestly, I didn't really know that until I moved into the, like here in Queens and stuff like that. I didn't know that. They're like, wait, you're born and raised here? You didn't move here? I'm like, no.
oh. They look at you like
So I'm like, oh my God. So it's crazy to see that, because I didn't realize how like less of us there really are. I didn't
yes.
know that.
No, y'all are gone. Y'all are endangered species. So yeah, when people, it's like, what? Ooh, tell me
Yeah.
more. But
Well,
what was it like growing up in New York?
definitely. So, one, I was born and raised in the Bronx, but I only lived here until I was like 6. So I kind of went to upstate New York. People call it upstate New York, but I'm like, sis, that is not upstate New York. I'm literally an
An
hour and
hour
20
away.
minutes. Like, please stop it. 845. I'm from the towns. If anyone's listening to this and you're from the towns, I got you, sis. I'm from there too, because that's where I grew up. That's where I was quote unquote raised. I
Amazing.
graduated from high school there, and then I ended up going to college in Albany, so the state capital.
Oh, great. Yeah. And that is even a little more upstate because
That Albany is upstate. That
hello. Yeah, I totally agree. An hour or right? No. That Albany is upstate.
That yes, that is upstate. But where I grew up, it's literally just like the suburbs, farm town, home country. Like
Love it.
you get what you get. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's where I grew up. But I was an athlete in college. I mean, in high school, also in college. That's kind of like how I came about. And then when I went to college, I kind of just like after freshman year, I kind of just like stopped playing volleyball. So I played volleyball. Um,
Stop. What
yes,
position were you?
I was an outside, middle, everything.
Everything. Wait, did you ever play libero? Were you ever libero?
That's the one position I did not play.
Oh, I'm crying because you seem a little short. Wait, but I played volleyball too. I was only a middle, but girl.
Wait,
I knew I was down with you. I
I'm
played middle.
5'9".
Wh-
What?
Y'all, wait. This is listeners. We're gonna get a drink in like 2 weeks when I'm fully vaxxed, and we're gonna IRL 5'9", of course, and that's why you want sis. Okay, continue. But yes, I played volleyball too. I was a middle. Oh, you were everywhere. Okay.
Yes, coach was like, go here, go there. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So yes, so that's kind of like how I grew up and everything. And then after college, so when I was graduating college, it was 2020.
Mhm.
And we know 2020, like sis.
Oh my gosh. And how was that?
So honestly enough, it was like not as bad as I anticipated. So grateful for that. I was
Mhm.
still up in Albany when I graduated school. I was kind of just finished, like basically happened in March and then
Mhm.
graduated in May. So it was like 2 months of like figuring out like virtual school for the first time
Oh my
because
God.
I never did virtual school. I was always in person. I was going to school. I was going to class,
Always from
always.
pre-K for forever. Yes.
Literally, like virtual school, not for me. Like I needed to see my people. I needed to be, like I needed to
Yes.
be in school.
Yes.
So yeah, anyway, I adjusted to that. It was cool. We all me and my like closest friends in school, like I was a human biology major. So like
Love it.
we would just do school together. We'd be like, all right, get on the Zoom, we're gonna do this test together. Like we gotta figure it out because this was a struggle.
Of course.
And then yeah, graduated 2020, and then I kind of like moved back home for the summertime. And then my mom and my parents ended up moving in the midst of the pandemic to Jersey from New York.
Amazing. It's
Crazy.
no, y'all listeners, people left New York. People still are not really back. People like, especially the rich, they like left the city.
Yeah,
They left.
they just dipped. And then so I went with my parents, and then basically October 2020 is when I moved into my apartment now in Queens. And now I'm here, and I've been here ever since, and I'm not going anywhere.
And you love it. What do you tell her? What do you love about living in New York City? Because it's just so. What is it? What does it do for you? But you're a
Yes,
born and raised New Yorker, but now you're in the like. What does it feel like?
yes. No, that's a great question. So like so when we first got here, it was kind of like, super like no indoor dining. It was like
Oh
prime.
shit! It's still 20. Yeah, it's like in the listeners, and I say this before, but like New York, pandemic, it was so scary. It was just like
Uh,
nothing we've never seen before. Shit was so bleak, so closed. Like restaurant, it was just scary. It was really scary.
no, for real. It was scary. And it was like, I remember like the very beginning, like remember when we would have to like wear gloves
Gloves and the
and the mask and
mask.
the shield, and people would just be like, ew, like I don't mess with
Do you
you.
remember if anyone sneezed and people would literally, girl, you could not sneeze on the MTA. I was like,
Like, please, like don't be on the train if you're doing any of that because
dang, it was really high end. Like I will never forget that setting.
no, it was insane. So, but being here honestly has now that everything's opening back up, we have indoor dining, like everyone's getting vaccinated, and it's like,
The
oh,
weather, aren't you loving the weather? I saw it.
loving the weather.
Love you, love your place, love the roof. The weather, isn't the weather just so? It's like a
Oh,
mood stabilizer. It just
yes. And then you just see more beautiful faces outside. You just see the dogs, the energy, just everything's back to life. And I'm so excited for the summertime because we just literally got news that like everything's gonna, people who are vaccinated, no mask. We have
listeners, it just dropped. Yeah, if you are fully vaccinated, no mask, you are good to go. I think they're kind of pushing it, rushing it, but literally, we're in New York City and we're so blessed and lucky that like everyone's respectable. We live in a safe, great neighborhood, and like just like you, I feel ready. Like I'm so great and gracious. And two, like I think New Yorkers need the uplifted spirits to like see everyone, the sunshine. I know outdoor dining, like just our neighborhood is so vibrant. Even I was out today, I'm like, this is a Thursday at 2 p.m. Like it is popping.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, this is what I was like. I'm like, oh my God. When I was like younger, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to move to New York, like the city, and like just do everything and live life. And I like truly feel like that's coming about. And I'm just so excited because it's like there's always something to do. You never run out of places to go to, you never run out of people to meet. Like it's endless. So I'm just super excited to just see like what the next years bring, like me being here and like career wise and just personal wise and
Mm.
everything like that. I'm so excited.
It's so exciting. And I mean, this is to me, that's why it's the greatest city in the world. It's the greatest city for an artist, for a creator, for a banker. It's working like it's just the best. And two, with like TikTok, New York, like just like you said, there's always something to do. There is never a weekend where you're like, sitting on your ass. I mean, wait, those weekends are great. Sit on it, smoke weed, stay inside. But
Yeah.
every single day, there's just something to do and explore. And that's the beauty of the city, truly.
Yes, New York City TikTok is like my favorite. I'm like, oh, screenshot. I gotta go there.
Screenshot. I'm like, gotta try that cocktail, that pasta. I'm like, babe, we're going TikTok. It's a TikTok restaurant. I don't
Yes.
know.
And I always like, I'm always looking out for your recommendations. I just seen you went to the taco spot. I'm like, Jackson Heights, we gotta go there. It's in
We
Queens.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Queens listeners, we live in the best borough just because of culture wise, of food wise, and two, just because I'm just being more mindful. Like maybe like all my favorite influencers are happy, healthy, and wealthy, but like the average American or person, like what can be affordable and accessible? And right now, that's all of our great farmers markets. Oh, that's all these great taco shops and stands that are coming back into business and that need our support. So what
Yes,
a great time and what a great way.
exactly. 100%. Yeah.
So, what is you're such a confident, vibrant woman. I literally love you over Zoom and I can't wait to meet you. But what is your relationship like with your body and how is that what was the evolution like? Because you're so confident and you're a model. To be a model, you check all the boxes, you know? So what's that like? What's that relationship like
So
with yourself?
truly it's been a journey. I feel like for anyone, body positivity and like truly self-love and loving yourself, it all just it's a journey. Like one day you could be like, ugh, sis, get it together. And one day you can be like, okay, like I see you, like we coming through, like we love it. And it's just giving yourself that more appreciation on the days where you're not feeling the best and just like understanding that it's life. Like not every day we're going to be on 100 and not every day we're going to be looking how we felt yesterday. It's just a matter of balance. And I feel like I did struggle with that, not going to lie to you, because I was an athlete literally from like 8 to 19. I was training, lifting weights constantly in the gym, like 5 to 6 days out of the week. Like I was training. I really was. And so I was kind of always stocky. I was always in shape. I was fit. And then when I stopped playing volleyball freshman year of college, going into sophomore year, I was kind of like, so what do I do? Like, where am I at with myself? And it was kind of like a struggle because I was always my legs were so muscular and like so big. And like, I was like, okay, well, I'm not that person anymore. So like, it was really an adjustment for like the first 2 years of like, losing that muscle mass and then like losing a lot of weight and then getting lean and then fluctuating in my weight with COVID. Girl, it's been a lot, but I'm just grateful nonetheless.
That is so, so incredible. And I think that's so important that you pointed out, just like any athlete or just that in between time, you have a schedule, a routine. Oh my God, for like 15 plus years. And then to leave that or with, I've always been in my body big boned, but to see some of my white girlfriends after college, after high school, your body change, it's like a mind fuck. It is
Hmm.
truly, and it's so okay, listeners, but it's like a mind fuck that your body can drastically change because one, you're not who you were at like 16, 17, but two, it's a whole new life adjustment, a whole new situation in college, in early adulthood. Like it can just be so like shocking and kind of scary that your body can change that fast.
And it's crazy because like even I feel like even if you're someone who wasn't an athlete, right, and you're listening to this and you're just kind of like you've been consistent with the gym, you go 2, 3 times, maybe 3, 4 times a week. And then, you take that week off, right? That week off where you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the gym. And then it's like 10 times harder to get back. And then you kind of just start telling yourself, oh my God, this, oh my God, that, like, and then you just kind of get into that like negative self-talk. And it's like, it's just find balance. So I always, even now I tell myself, okay, I have to at least 2 to 3 times a week, I have to move my body. Like at least I have to do something that makes me feel good. And it's a journey, like finding different workouts. Cause like now I'm not, especially because this past year, like gyms weren't really an option for me.
Mm-hmm.
For really no one,
For
honestly.
no
So,
one, yeah, unless you were in Florida. Fucking weird. Yeah.
girl, don't even get me started about don't even get me started
A
about
mess, a mess.
a mess. So like just kind of finding like, okay, what at home stuff can I do or what can I do outside, right? I know you do the track every day and that's amazing. Let's say you don't even have access to the track. Like we all have access to technology. Just finding people on YouTube that you can do a 20-minute follow along workout to, something simple, something easy that you can do just like so you get it done. And just I just feel like finding things that you've liked. So I've been kind of liking more yoga and Pilates.
I've
And
seen your Pilates hack. I love
yeah,
that. Love that.
Velez, guys. If you don't know her, get into her on YouTube. She's amazing. I love her. She's
I'll
Black.
tag her in the show notes.
Yes,
Yes.
Black woman. She's from the UK and she does amazing videos. She's also a nutritionist. Like I don't even know her personally, but I love her already. Like,
No, amazing, amazing. And I just love what you said. It's so important. Balance. It's just a balance. And just, we are all human. Shit, even Khloe Kardashian or Ashley Graham, you have those thoughts and those negativity. And I can so relate to you. I like was off running and it's like you come back that first week, that first 5 days, and it's the negativity. It's like we can't even do this. Why we even try? But once you just find a balance and you trade those thoughts with, oh, but you showed up today. Oh, but you drank your water. Oh, but you actually finished that run in 2 hours. Who cares? Like once you just
you
switch
did
those,
so.
you did it though. You did it though. And I feel like once you just switch that mindset and those words, everything kind of changes and it's just easier.
Yes. It's like it's all about the affirmations and what you tell yourself. Like, I am confident. Like I can do this. Like I'm always the type of person I'm like hype before I do it. And then once I'm in it, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to sit down. Like I don't want to do this. But it's like just get through it and just take your time with it because it is a huge adjustment that we're in terms of life and our day-to-day routine. It looks so different than what it did like a year ago. So just like find literally like you said, finding that balance and just finding things that you like is key.
Listeners, and people will be like, well, how do you just run every day and stuff? You need to find stuff you like. Before running, like I was at the bar method. I loved community class, like a tone muscular ballet, but life took a huge adjustment for all of us. And I think the best way as entrepreneurs, as businesswomen, how do you adapt? And you found YouTube, you found different workouts, and I found running. Shit, everyone wanted me to run in high school and be track and this, but I was like, no, I'm a volleyball. I'm into soccer, like cute girl. But now it's like I have such a wow. Now I love to run. I find joy. And like you said, you just find something you like. I think that is just the biggest thing, whether that's a ballet class, whether that's walking around the park, like just find something that truly brings you joy and it won't even feel like a fitness or a workout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. So tell me, what's one thing you seem so close with your mom and it was just Mother's Day? What's one thing your mother taught you about your body?
Oh, that's key because my mom was literally my biggest supporter. She was like always at my volleyball games, like, girl, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And my mom was really not like she never was really into like sports and athletics. Like she was a cheerleader and like, whatever. And like so, lifting weights and all of that wasn't like, her forefront. So when she would see me, like I was never really the girly type. I was that. I was literally like the bro, but I was a girl. I would pop out and do what I gotta do. But like you would always find me in my sweats, my sports bra chilling.
Of course.
Like all the time. And my mom would honestly just encourage me to literally just be me. Like just like she knew I was beautiful and like days where I would feel like, well, why don't I look like this? And the biggest thing, honestly, I would say like growing up as a Black woman in a predominantly white neighborhood was the hair thing.
Oh, sis. Yes.
Like
Yes.
it was the hair for me. Like it was never like really the body, but it was just me feeling confident with the crown that I had. And it was just like embracing what I could do with what I had in my situation. And it wasn't really until I was like, mom, I don't want to get relaxer anymore. Like I can't sit in the chair getting perm to my head anymore. Like it burns, it stinks. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I can't. I literally cannot. So ventured into box braids, and she would support me 100%. She's like, do whatever you need to do and what makes your life easier at the end of the day. And knowing that you're beautiful regardless of whatever he, she, whatever has to say.
What media is saying. Oh my God. And like, you almost have me in tears. One, God bless you. God bless your mother. And that's just so, isn't it so beautiful to have a parent that just lets you be you? Because opposite but similar, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. And for me, it was body and hair. And by or going into junior high, seventh grade, it was hair. And I said, Mommy, like, I have to relax my hair. I was like her little twin. I had these beautiful locks, but I was like, Mom, I need to relax my hair because I know straight hair will make me prettier. The boys will like me. This will da da da. I'll just blend in. I'll look like the Black Cameron Diaz, whatever. But my mom was like, whatever's going to make you feel your best, do. And sis, I was on the creamy crack until last year. Like, that's how she was a little confused. But it's so beautiful to have a parent who just supports your journey and is like, okay, hey, box braids, let's do it. And that's just such a beautiful moment to have with your mom, because I feel like too, as Black women, as just women, like, we love our moms, and that relationship is such a beautiful bond, and it can help us just become our evolution and become like what they wanted us to become, you know?
And it's like and even though like my mom, like she's a nurse, so like when she was growing her career, I was also, her growing daughter, and it was like she was working and like providing and doing all of these things, and like doing my hair wasn't first priority. And like, not gonna lie, it wasn't first priority for me either. Like I'm like,
No, of course.
I do my hair, like, and honestly, when I was growing up, it's not like we had products to do our hair. Like, let's
Hello,
not
nothing, not even at the Walgreens or CVS, nothing.
nothing. And it's like, so I understood why I gravitated towards that. And it was also only what I seen. So it was like, it was what was readily available. It's what we knew. And then when it came time to, now, like 20, let me say like 2013, 2014, and natural hair and curly things were more of a thing. I'm like, wait, that's what my hair looks like. Like that's what I could do. Like, okay, let me try it. Like,
And two, isn't it like being in New York City so fucking amplifying? It's, oh my God, the inspiration you see when you just like walk down your street, or if you're in the West Village. I know I came here and I was like, and I would tell like Black hairstylists like the hair journey, and they'd be like, you had locks. They're like, why'd you get rid of them? Like, don't get there. But it's just
my
such a
art.
beautiful art. It's such a beautiful like thing to see that now, because as you said, like being as our age, we did not see that. Didn't see that anywhere. I maybe saw Moesha a little older, but that was Brandy with her braids. Like, other than that, I didn't see anything anywhere. Gab Union, she had the relax, and that was it
Yes.
too, right? So I was like, oh, well, then that. So it's such a beautiful journey that we have with our hairs. And wait, tell us what you just did with your hair. You got a new hairdo and it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. What'd you do to it? And you dyed
So
it, and the texture, listeners, follow her on Instagram. I will tag you. So beautiful. No, I was like, oh,
thank you. And I was like, so I've been natural now since freshman year of college. So I would say that's like 5 years now, going on 5. And I literally would only do my own haircuts because I never knew like a stylist in my area because I was constantly moving every single year. And I would literally just always have my hair in a bun, whatever. I'm just like, okay, like it is what it is. And then it wasn't until like this point, and I've been contemplating this for like almost 3 months since the beginning of 2021. I'm like, I need to do something different. Like I've never dyed my hair before. I've never had highlights, never had anything. Like it's just been my natural hair.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, like I need something different. Like I need a cut. Like I just need it to be done.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I just literally went for a consultation. And I was like, okay, let me just see like what she recommends or
Absolutely.
what my stylist says my hair texture needs, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like, okay, well, like we can do a nice curly cut for you. I really would love to see some color in your hair, some highlights, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like I trust you. I came here for a reason. And she's like, all right, want to do it right now? And I was like, right now? Like I came for a consultation. Like I didn't come for any of that. And she was like, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like I have the time. I didn't have anything. It was a Saturday. I didn't have anything in my schedule. And I literally sat from 11 to 3, got my hair cut, got my hair colored, dyed, everything. And I was like, I can't believe I just did that. And I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
It is so, listeners, it is so beautiful. I feel like it just fits you, your personality. And two, I know it looks like it looks like you cut so much, but sis, it's still so full and luscious. I'm like, even now, like it's tucked and it's behind. I'm like, it is beautiful. And I think it's so, with all these episodes, you have to know like the journey that women face with their hair. Sis, I was even surprised to learn like the journey that white women face. Our hair is such a part of our identity. I mean, how can it not be? America and capitalism and white supremacy, but it is such a beautiful relationship to have with yourself. And again, you can just keep inspiring me. I love that, because that moment when she's like, oh, you want to do it now? And like, I would have been out the door. Nope, I have a dentist appointment. You were like, no, let's go and let's do it. Why not? And just trusting that instinct, that gut. And then look, you're just so much more yourself. And what a beautiful thing to play with your hair and that beautiful connection we have with our hair too, as Black women.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm only this person in this moment. Like, I'm never going to be in this position ever again. I was literally already in the chair. I'm like, to come back and then to come do it again. Like, let me just do it right now. And she was just cutting inches and inches. I'm like, okay, like she's just going. She's going to keep cutting. And then like, we started putting the bleach and the dye. And I'm like, okay, like we're doing this. And I just sat there and obsessed with how it came out. And I'm like, if you just, I don't know, I just feel like when you get that haircut, when you just like let go, like you just feel like so free. I really felt like a weight was lifted off of me.
You feel so free. And listeners, like I don't know how I did the creamy crack for so long, because that was painful. It is painful. And I have so much love and empathy for that former self who thought she had to do that. And I feel empathy and love, because like it hurt. Some days it did hurt and it's brutal. And now, like you said, to get that haircut, to get that braid, it just feels so authentically you. And two, it's the crown. The most, my gaze always, the crown is the most important part. How are you, holding your head up? How are you rising to the occasion? It is so crucial and important. And you look beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. At what age did you learn to love your body? And it's totally okay if that's still like a journey, a process, but was there like a moment or like something that happened where it just shifted? You're like, oh, that like did that, how'd that happen?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it was truly after I had stopped playing volleyball. So I would say sophomore year of college is when I really was like, okay, like this is my body right now. And this is what I literally built up for literally like the last 11 years from 8 to 19. I was like, I was a hardcore athlete. I had the big thighs and like the big calves and the Aki arms.
As a volleyball player, listeners, yeah, you don't know, you were lifting weights. We were in there with the football guys. I'm like, what kind of masochist shit is this? And just like my stocky short friends, they would build their thighs. And I was like, you are lifting weights, like and muscle.
Yes, no, literally. I remember preseason it would, because we were like volleyball and football were the fall sports. So it's like we were in the weight room together and it was like,
it was like running bleachers. I'm like, at 6 a.m., you got the wrong one, but I wanted to make varsity, so I was there. But yeah, you are lifting weights. It is endurance. It is tough. Yes, it's tough shit.
It's everything. And so like it wasn't really until sophomore year of college where I had stopped that life. And I was like now in a new quote unquote life. And I was like, okay, well, this is what I have right now. So how can I like, maintain, or how can I like slim down, or like, how can I just be like a new version of me? And it was just like that moment where I was like, okay, like I need to just find things in myself that I love. Like I love that I was 5'9" and I had strong muscles and I had strong legs, because that made me, and people literally they want to be 5'9" short people. They're like, I want to be tall. Like, you're so lucky. And I'm like, sure.
Sure.
Like, okay, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I just embraced that, and I just embraced being me. And I always tell myself, like, no one is you. Being you is your superpower, right? I'm pretty sure like Dr. Seuss said that quote, but like I always stick to that. Like being you is your superpower. So it's like at that moment I was me. I had to be me, and there was no one else that was gonna encourage me, uplift me, and support me like me. So that was probably the moment where I was like, okay, I love myself. I'm on this journey to be whatever I want to be, and I had a great like foundation to build on.
Apps. Oh, that is so incredible. That's so incredible and inspiring. And two, it's just, just being with yourself through those moments of like, well, this is where we are. We're here day one right here. And although you were leaving, volleyball in that former life, stepping into this new life, like you had to just, you can't abandon yourself. You just really can't, listeners. I know it's hard and it's depressing and it's sad and we're in a pandemic but coming out, but you really can't abandon yourself. You have to know that this is the one body, the one life. Oh my, what a time to be alive. Like dead ass 2021. Like
That.
I'm so grateful. And so just don't abandon yourself and just, I love what you said. That's just incredible. It's truly incredible.
Yeah, we made it to the end. That's what matters. Like we
Yeah.
made it on the outside.
On the
We're in
outside.
2021. We're thriving. We're here.
Right. And oh my God, graduating in a pandemic, being in a pandemic, moving in a pandemic. What was like the biggest lesson your body taught you? Like, did you learn something new about yourself in the last year where you were like, we got like, what was
Yes.
that?
It was honestly just like I kind of learned more about like internal health more than like I learned more about wellness, I should say, than like physical health. Cause I, before this whole pandemic and everything like that, I would only literally just go to the gym and then like I would eat whatever and like do whatever. It was never about like, okay, like, am I making sure I'm getting my vitamins? Am I making sure I'm taking my pre and probiotics, my nutrients, like things to keep my internal good? It was more so just like my physical and like what I seen on the outside. But this year I learned about like, no, starting from inside and then that will reflect on the outside.
Oh my, it's it. It's yes, it literally will reflect. And two, I feel like as just people and people as people in society, they forget about the internal being. I feel like so much in the Instagram is like outside and reflection, but it's like, well, how does your soul feel? Like, what are you
Mhm.
giving yourself? Are you taking your vitamins? Are you drinking your water? Are you just eating like the best way that you can eat for you? Like how, and then two, you get that I kind of call everyone's like, you're always glowing and this, that, but it's like, sis, I got the internal glow. And I think that's
Yeah,
where it starts,
it does
and that can
100%.
just exude and it can really just attract and make your light brighter to help everyone else.
Yes, exactly. And it was like, I'm a science nerd. So like I love knowing, like I'm super into like I've just always been into the human body. Like I literally went to school for that, not because I wanted to like do anything really pursue that, but I just love it. And I just
Yeah.
really wanted to like connect with like since I had all the time on my on my hands with the pandemic, like might as well tap into it. And it was just like knowing about okay, like what does your microbiome need and like what are the nutrients they need to thrive and like what does like my lineage of my ancestors like what were they deprived of that are now in my genetics and like we can get into that another day but like all of that stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Ooh, sis, go off. Absolutely. And two, listeners, black, white, brown, whoever, but especially for my black and brown people, where is who do you come from? And two, like with me, I think last year I had to look at not only my health, but like my family's health. Like what diseases and what, generational things am I not going to accept and allow because it's just hurt us and it's been detrimental. And I think when you know where you come from, when you know how to like self balance, self regulate your microbiome, like when you know how to just self assess, it can just help you thrive and be you. But
Yep.
like you have to know where you come from, what's in your DNA, what's in your bloodline. And you can't, there's no good or bad. We all have this like duality and it's there, it's light and dark. So
Yeah,
there should be no shame or no kind of worrisome about that. But that's so important. And I love that. And internal health, it's crucial. But I
exactly.
love too on your IG, you do your wellness Wednesdays. And what is that like? Please tell us some wellness Wednesdays and some self-care because Black women, even with my mom, I'm like, mommy, can you like sit down and like, like just do like a gua sha, like do some massaging, like just take care of yourself. Cause I feel like we really forget about us. Like we
Mhm.
just do. So how do you put those practices into your life? And yeah, like I saw on your IG yesterday, you have like a whole day and a thing. And I'm like, yes, this is what I need. I need to block a time. How did you incorporate that to your life?
Yeah, no, great question because it's like I wasn't really I a year ago like asked me about anything. I wasn't taking anything. My mom would always be like, "You need to take vitamins. Like you need to do this." I'm like, "Okay." Like but honestly, like never do it. And it wasn't really until like my business and my company we really expanded into the wellness community and we really started like putting out immune support and we started putting out a pre and probiotic and collagen and total greens and I'm like I need to like get into this more. And I've just, and it's so easy to incorporate into my daily lifestyle that it's just become like now my routine.
Routine.
So I wake up in the morning, first thing I do, I go to the bathroom, whatever, and then I immediately take my pre and probiotic. It's just like, it's just routine at this point.
Clockwork. Yeah.
Clockwork, exactly. And the fact that now I have this where I can like share it with people. My whole purpose is really just to educate and just like expose people because I know like if I was someone just fast forward a year ago that wasn't exposed to it, I know people today are not like so keen or like just so in tune with the things that they need to kind of be getting into. So that's why I really choose like Wednesday to be my wellness Wednesdays where I really just like showcase the things that I use, my routines, how I incorporate it and everything like that because it truly is so important and I've never felt internally better than I currently do right now, you know?
Absolutely. And two, would you say, like, I found during the pandemic, like, what a joy it is to take care of yourself? Like, what a joy. Oh my God, I can take care of myself. And then I'm a better daughter. I'm a better girlfriend. I'm a better friend. I'm a better like, it just reflects and like it mirrors you. And I love that you have a routine now. Listeners, like anything, it takes time and then it becomes clockwork. It becomes a routine. Or like for you, you probably see the difference. Like your skin is
Yeah.
clear, you're sleeping better. Oh, you're in like better moods. Like the difference is like also a mind fuck. So then you keep with the routine and it's just like clockwork. You're just doing it and you're just happy and you're thriving, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just like one day where I don't do it, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so like I feel so off. Like
Yeah.
oh, like I need to get back.
You
Like I
need to
need
get
to be doing my routine. And it's like I'm sure you can imagine that too. Like it's just like once you like create something that makes you feel so internally good, like you never want to stray away from it. That's why like my mission is literally just to help people like get to that point so they can realize like what they were missing or what they were lacking before they had, gotten into that more healthier wellness like lifestyle.
That is incredible, incredible. And I love to like finish up with, what does self-love mean to you? You're an incredibly young woman. You are a beautiful woman. You're a business owner. You're a model. You are just listeners. I look up to her and I'm an oldie. I look up to you.
Uh,
What does self-love mean to you, you know?
Yes. And you know what's crazy? Like, so today my aunt had sent me, I haven't talked to her in like, a
Mhm.
while. And she had sent me this picture today. And I'm not even kidding you. She sends me these pictures all the time. And the picture was self-love, dude. I'm not even joking you. Like this is what she sent me today.
Stop.
Yes. And I was spazzing out this morning. I'm like, oh my
Wait, pause. You have to read it. Oh my
I'm
God,
going to. Like,
listeners.
I was like, I'm reading this today. Like, everyone needs to hear this. And I love it. So I just wanted to share this because it's literally what I would say. So it's self love by Vibe Source. So this is where I'm getting it from. When you love yourself, you glow from the inside. You attract people who love, respect, and appreciate your energy. Everything starts with and how you feel about yourself. Start feeling worthy, valuable, and deserving of receiving the best life has to offer. Be magnetic. Girl, I was like,
Girl,
no way she didn't just tell me this morning.
this morning. Stop, Patty. Girl. That
Crazy.
is wild. And oh my God, just that even that little snippet of listeners. And then that's what like once you reflect it to yourself, that's how it comes. It just is. And I think, like anyone, you can't expect like friends who are like, how do I date Steph? Like, date yourself, learn to love yourself, because no one will love you more than you. No one will look after you more than you. And it's so crazy. Like when you attract that positive light, like you'll see some relationships fall and wither, but then the abundance coming and like what the universe and God has to offer, sis, it's literally bigger than you could ever imagine. It's bigger
Yes.
than you can already imagine. And you see it in your bank statements, in like your family life, in your partnerships. It's just, the fruition is endless. And that was incredible. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, auntie.
Right?
Yes.
And it's just so unexpected. Like I wasn't expecting her to text me today and send me that. And like it made me like, oh my God, like okay, like she maybe got that for the podcast, but I swear on everything.
No, we need
Like,
that. That was
no.
girl. And
It
two,
was,
listener,
yes. It
Jupiter
was
is in
super.
Pisces. Abundance is here for all of us. No, that was literally a karmatic. That's
That's why I
incredible.
told you I was so excited for today. Everything was aligning, and I'm like, yes. And as soon as
I
I'm like, can we do Thursday? You were like, Thursday, perfect. I'm like,
perfect. Oh my goodness. That is just so incredible. And I mean, where can my listeners follow you, find you? I just subscribed to your YouTube. I'm about to check out that blog and coast. Where were you at?
Costa
Oh,
Rica.
listener, she was in Costa Rica. I'm about to watch that blog. I love you. Where can all of our listeners find you, follow you, and tell us about your company and what are your favorite products, please?
Yes. Okay, great. So you can find me on all socials at ZFVCHU. People are always like, oh my God, what does that even mean? Like, so it's literally just ZFV are my initials, my,
Literally.
and
You'll
then
see, you'll see her beautiful face, so you'll be like, oh yeah.
just know that was me. And then Chu is just literally what my family calls me. So it's literally unique to me. You'll find me everywhere. And basically on my page, you'll find all things lifestyle, wellness, health advice, like anything you can imagine, just positivity, mindset, everything like that. I am an entrepreneur. I do have my own business working with beauty, hair care, skincare, and wellness products. And it truthfully is just, it's truly amazing because you get to help people find their confidence with these products. And it's just great because everything is vegan, cruelty free,
So
anti-aging.
important. You listeners, clean products. And two, listeners, as Black women, and I can't wait to buy the superfood thing for the smoothie, I think. It's so much fulfilling, listeners, when you can put money back into Black pockets, black into POC, hey, black into back into supporters, into fellow entrepreneurs. Like that is my one goal this year, like putting my money back into us. Because
Yeah.
two, that's also fucking energetic. Like you see it come back. No, seriously. Like I see you in my life for a long time, being collaborators, anything. Like you just see it kind of come back. And two, there's a place for all of us. We can all succeed. We can all create the life we want. Black women, we can all be in fruition and abundance and love each other and support each other. So I think that's so important. And yes, listeners, you have to follow her, check it out. And two, great stuff on wellness and just cleanness. It's just the best.
Guys, every Wednesday, check me out. If you happen to follow me on a Wednesday, there will definitely be something regarded to wellness and like everything we talked about, body positivity, feeling good from the inside out, and keep supporting Bree because literally I look forward to every day. And one tip I want to say is keep your Instagram with people that you genuinely love and you genuinely feel good when you see them post, because that was one thing I really like strive for in this whole shift of a year, was just keeping people on my social medias, that every time I got on social media, it was just positive like energy and things that I know that I can get created by or inspired by, and just things I can just like implement into my life. That's like my biggest tip, because Brie was definitely one of them. And I just like loved everything that like I seen from her and the people she would recommend. And it's just like once you get connected to that one person you love, they're just gonna bring so much more to you. And I'm like, this is what it's about. So definitely
You
love
are the
support
sweetest.
everything.
You're the sweetest. And I totally agree because, we do talk about body image on this podcast. And for me, I had to be like, okay, who are like the people you're following? Because two, listeners, and wait, one, we've all been inside the house. So you've been on your phone just doom scrolling for a year, which is so sick. Like I cannot wait to get off my phone and into a dirty club on the Lower East Side.
Exactly.
But, right. But you can become it's just so you have to be very cautious about who you follow. And like you said, in a year of just loss and devastation, especially for Black people and Black women, I'm on Instagram and I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by others. And I'm just like, I have fun on Instagram and I make like a mood board because, oh, now like I like who I'm fucking with. And now I'm more on my business page than I am on my Finsta because my Finsta is just close friends and family. But I'm more inspired by people like you, by like entrepreneurs, by influencers. And I'm like, oh, they're doing this. Like I'm inspired. And it's like feeding the fuel, and it's so so important and so crucial, and I love that. You just need to follow positive people, and I just want to be a light, just like you want to be a light. That's what, girl,
No
Scorpio, we see
lie.
each other, no lie.
That second dose so we can see each other.
Exactly. Listeners, thank you so so much for tuning in to an all new episode of Black Girl Can't Cook. I will have everything in the show notes, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.